Okay. We are recording and I'm on video. And let's see here.
Hey, Victoria, looks like it's about that time. I don't know how you want to contact each other initially as we set this up, but feel free to go ahead and do that now, and we can start the ball rolling.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and pause. Okay. All right. So we're live and we're recording.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already done so, please go to stevegjones.com right now. That's stevegjones.com. Get your free wealth hypnosis audio. It's going to program you to bring out that inner power in your mind so that you can manifest your greatness. That's stevegjones.com. And today I am interviewing a wonderful friend of mine, beautiful inside and out, just an awesome person. I know her and her husband, who has a cool name. His name's Steve. They're just great people. So Victoria is a certified master hypnotist. I've known her for a long time. I've been a fan of hers for even longer. She's a law of attraction facilitator. She specializes in career and business success. So that means she helps entrepreneurs, people who are business professionals, personal growth seekers, people who want to develop that success-oriented mindset, really get things done, and that mindset of confidence and abundance so that they can just move forward and attract personal and professional growth in their lives. And the really cool thing about Victoria is, and this is why I think she's one of the most important people in the law of attraction space today, she has just recently launched her book, Practical Law of Attraction. That's one of the, there it is. You gotta get you one. It is a great book. She just launched that book, and it's what it says. It's a practical approach to the law of attraction, and it's on Amazon. It's a #1 best-selling book. She's a #1 best-selling author, and she deserves it. She's been touring the globe and presenting her law of attraction intensive workshops. If you get an opportunity to work with this lady, don't pass it up. Make sure you make it happen. She's one of my personal heroes because I just always loved her work and her contribution. So we got something really cool coming up for you at the end. And that is that Victoria is going to be asking me some very personal questions. She's going to be drilling down to the depths of my soul. I have no idea what she's going to ask. It's going to happen live. So that's going to happen. That's at the end. So definitely stay tuned for that. And then after that, she'll be answering your questions. So if you want to put in your questions now, Victoria can gather them and look through them. Don't hesitate, but realize that she'll do that at the end. She'll get your questions at the end, and she'll be answering all of them. Okay, Victoria, I understand that you, as a law of attraction expert, manifest things all the time. That's what you do. That's what you teach. And what's the most recent thing that you manifested?
Oh, wow. So we're just getting right into the the heart of what we do. So, we're going to get a little bit into how manifesting actually works in the first place and dive into that. This year has been an amazing, and thank you so much for that introduction, that warm introduction. I really appreciate that. The feelings are absolutely mutual. I mean, we've had a mutual adoration going on for many years now in this space, and so I think what you do is absolutely incredible as well. So it's it's an honor to get this opportunity to to talk to your audience and our audience together. And so thank you so much. So one of the cool things though is this year I've been a manifesting machine. All right. So I manifested, of course, my book, Practical Law of Attraction, becoming that #1 best-selling book when it was released in February. I manifested that. As a result of manifesting that, I manifested this amazing law of attraction intensive where I manifested many people to come and take these classes all over the world. So that happened. But one of the cool things in that whole journey, it was just a fun story that happened. I'm sure many people that follow you, follow me, are familiar with the movie The Secret and also the Chicken Soup for the Soul series of books by Jack Canfield. And so it was kind of interesting because I was on my way to present my seminar in Toronto, Canada. And a few days before that, I put out there my dream list of all the people that I also have a podcast, and I've had some pretty interesting guests on my podcast, including you, Dr. Steve G. Jones. And so I had put together this dream list of people that I want to interview on my podcast. And so fast forward to a few days later, I'm in the Toronto airport. I'm standing in baggage claim, and I get my bag. And as I turn around with my bag, I see none other than Jack Canfield from the movie The Secret. And I'm flabbergasted, tongue twisted, but I see this man and somebody I've kind of been a fan of for quite a while. And I'm like, Jack Canfield, oh my goodness, it's wonderful to see you, and do all of that and take the picture and give the hugs and all of that. And as I was a little starstruck, I have to admit. And I mean, he's a pretty big deal, celebrity in the personal growth arena, if you will. And I forgot to do all the things that I said that I would do if I had met this person. So yeah, I turn around and I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot to give him a copy of my book that I just told him that I wrote. I wish I should have asked him to be on my podcast. And so the next thing you know, I go out and I'm waiting outside of the airport for my Uber, but I think, am I in the right place? And I'm saying that at the same time that I'm saying I should have done this, I should have done that. I go back in the airport and turn around, and there he is again. And there was my opportunity. And so my opportunity to go and talk to him again and give him a copy of my book officially and sign it. And while I'm signing my book, I asked him to be on my podcast. And of course, he agreed. And so he will be on the Power of Your Mind podcast coming up. My calendar is actually full in January. So it'll be first quarter of the year. And so it's really, really exciting. But it just kind of goes to show, that it's about that. I also wrote this other book called Attract Good Luck. And it's about when luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. And so, really kind of comes down to, was I prepared? Absolutely. I'm prepared. I have a podcast. I travel. I wrote a book. I had myself in the right space. And then, of course, here's an opportunity to get somebody really great onto my show. So it's about when preparedness meets opportunity. So I just thought it was a really fun story.
That is awesome. How did you initially get involved in all of this? You're a hypnotherapist, also like myself. How did you initially get involved in hypnosis and the law of attraction?
So like I think a lot of other people that are on the same personal development path or getting into hypnosis, you go through your own personal struggles. And I was at that time, I was no different. I went through my own personal struggles. I was working as a financial consultant at the time, and I started really feeling myself just getting totally burnt out on that. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Went through some personal development seminars, kind of like my intensive that I finally have recently put together, I went through one of those types of trainings where you go and you really get to know yourself, and you get rid of your blocks, and you figure out what it is that is getting in your way of having what you really, really want. So I was taking a training, and during the process of taking that kind of training, it just, the lights turned on. We were doing a lot of closed eye techniques. We were doing a lot of meditations. And during the meditations, I thought, wow, I want to guide people through this experience. I love this transformation. I want more and more people to experience this. And so I started writing my own meditations. And for a couple of years, it took me to kind of get to a place where I, realized, this is something I want to create a line of recordings that help people in the comfort of their own home to go through this transformation. And not everybody has the time to go through a seminar, or has the money, or all of that. But they certainly have $20 that they could invest in themselves and learn these techniques and these approaches that really, really will help. And I just wanted to, it was all about wanting to turn the lights on for other people, and expose them to that self-awareness where they could really realize that you can be or do whatever it is that you want. Because I was so stuck in this idea that I had to be a stockbroker. That was the only way that I was going to make enough money to live the lifestyle that I wanted to live for myself. And no, I realized I could have it all. I could do what I want to do. I could do something that's really cool, really fun, but I can also make a living, and I could help people at the same time. So it was just this whole notion of just being able to help people tap into the power of their mind through these hypnosis programs. So I got myself certified and everything to make sure that I was legit and that I was giving people the right information when I was recording, and it just took off. And I really believe that it took off so easily for me. And I mean, I went through my struggles to manifest things initially, but eventually it became pretty much one of the most well-known brokerage firms, one of the most well-known hypnosis stores where you could buy downloads on the internet. And I believe it happened that way because it was what I was truly meant to do. And it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have just taken a risk, because people were against that at the time. They really thought, oh God, you can't make a living selling these little hypnosis programs online. You can't make a living on a website. I mean, back in 1999, it was just unheard of. I was a pioneer of this. There were other people doing it. I wasn't the very first to market. I did have a few models that I looked at to see that, this is absolutely possible. But it was, it was not very heard of. And, you have to make your own way. You have to carve your own path. And that was, that's kind of how I got started in being a hypnotist.
I love it. I love it. So getting back to the law of attraction, I wanted to drill down a little bit on that. How do you define, there's so many definitions of law of attraction, and different people have their own ideas about it, but how do you define it, Victoria?
So I just have a very simple definition of it. And it's ultimately comes down to, you get what you focus on. Ultimately, you get what you focus on, whether positive or negative. And the thing is, though, is, if you want better results, you have to change your thinking. It really starts there. You have to know what it is that you want in the first place, which most people don't really, really know what they want. They know what they think is possible for them. And so they sell themselves out and they kind of leave a lot on the table. But it really comes down to, what you think about is what you are going to manifest. What you focus on, whether negative or positive is what you're going to manifest. There's a lot more to the stories, being in alignment with a lot of other conditions, which I talk about in my book. But and so you think, oh, all I have to do is just change my thinking, and I can have what I want. Yeah, it really is as simple as that. But let me make a distinction. There is a difference between what is simple and what is easy, because we have this thing called our good old subconscious programming, which pretty much almost forces us to think according to these default old thinking patterns of behavior that we've been thinking about since we were programmed that way. And so anytime you turn on the news, anytime you talk to a friend, anytime you really get into any kind of conversation, normally what's normal, the normal way to think is about, oh, this, how bad it is, how bad my day was, how stressed I am. It's almost a competition that we want to get into about whose day was worse, or what, crazy, ridiculous things happened to us. And so it's really easy for people to stay stuck in this negative thinking. And so even though it's a simple definition, it's a simple explanation, it's actually, it takes some work. It takes some work to get yourself in alignment with that way of thinking.
I agree with that. Now, along the lines of that work, do you feel that you need to believe in the law of attraction in order for it to work for you?
Well, yes and no. No, because the law of attraction is always working. Okay, the law of attraction is working regardless of whether you know about it or not. So if you do not believe in the law of attraction, and yet you continue to subscribe to a certain way, a certain pattern of thinking, and you have beliefs that are working against what it is that you desire, that is following along a path that is going to lead you to ultimately attracting things that you don't want. So in that respect, the law of attraction is working whether you believe in it or don't believe in it. The law of attraction doesn't care whether you believe in it or not. It just works. And so now the same thing can hold true if you're naturally inclined to expect the good things and think about the good things, and you're naturally grateful, and you're naturally, you were blessed with parents who 100% positively programmed your mind to get you to believe in anything is possible. And so in that regard, you're thinking along the lines, and you know that you're always attracting what you want, you're always getting what you want. So therefore, that's the line of thinking that's going to lead you to the results that you're going to have. So it doesn't really matter what you believe now, but once you do start to believe that your thoughts are, and your emotions and your actions and all of the conditions, once you really start to understand that, I'm in control of my life, I'm in control of my results, having that belief system is going to help you that much more, because now it's not happening by default. It's not happening on accident. It's not happening by mistake. It's happening because you know that you're the one that is making it happen.
I love it. I love it. Now back to the book. You wrote The Practical Law of Attraction, the book, and that came out. Practical Law of Attraction. There it is, very practical. And it came out in February of this year. It's been a number one bestseller for over 10 months now. So what gave you the idea to write this book?
So I've been a believer, a practicer of the law of attraction pretty much ever since graduating from that seminar back in 1999 that I told you about, and maybe even before that. But that was really the first time that I knew of the term that, to think is to create, okay, was the term that they used in our seminar. To think is to create. And once I realized that, I changed the structure of my life, and I started really manifesting and really taking responsibility and ownership for everything that was happening to me. And I've just always wanted to encourage people to do that. So a lot of my hypnosis scripts were embedded with a lot of these commands about energy vibration and things like that. And that's why I was getting such great results with my hypnosis scripts. I thought everybody knew this stuff. I really thought that this was just the way that everybody thought. But then the movie The Secret came out, and it just became this whole movement. And people really started learning about the law of attraction. And so it kind of created an opening for me to be able to talk about it a little bit more. And actually, these scripts were all about manifesting, all about magnetism, all about energy, all about what you think you create. But now I'm actually able to say the law of attraction. I'm actually able to say that, and people understand what I talk about, right? And so that is where the idea to start really pushing law of attraction and talking about law of attraction really came from. The book was an evolution. And one of the things was I got so sick and tired of hearing people talk about law of attraction like it was a scam, or like it was something bad or something negative. I got so tired of people bad mouthing it that I wanted to set the record straight, and I really wanted to create this book called Practical Law of Attraction, so people could really understand what it is and what it is not. And what it is not, I tell this story earlier about meeting Jack Canfield, but you might look at some scenarios like that and think, oh, it's magic. If I just sit in my beanbag chair and wish and think and hope hard enough and pray, things will come and things will end up on my doorstep. And in some ways, the movie The Secret, they left a lot to the imagination, right? There was a lot left out of that movie. How you can't explain. My book takes 6 hours to listen to on Audible. And that doesn't even it scratches the surface pretty well. But even that, there's still more to the story, right? And that movie is only 90 minutes. So they kind of took like the whole best of what is possible and put it into this 90 minutes, but it doesn't explain the realities of what it is you actually need to do in your life in order to make law of attraction work. And there is work, and it's about aligning yourself as a human being with the same, let's just call it vibration, energy vibration of the things that you want to manifest. You have to change yourself. You have to grow yourself to become a person who is aligned with the relationship that you want, with the money that you want, with the house that you want. You can't just wish and hope for these things to do. You have to be those things. It's about a beingness. And my book explains very, very specifically how to actually be, what you actually need to do, and how to get yourself there to a place where you become somebody who is manifesting much more easily and manifesting the things that you actually do want. Does that kind of make sense?
Absolutely.
I'm so passionate about this.
I love it. And then your book also, you talk about manifesting conditions. Can you get into those?
Yeah. So I came up with 8 manifesting conditions that I believe are the key to having it all. Okay. And, they are desire, your thoughts, your visualizing, your emotions, your action, getting in touch with your intuition, and the actual what do you do with the manifestation itself? And I know I'm leaving one out. I'm leaving one out. Yeah, so desire, thought, imagination, belief, that's the most important one. Belief is the one that I left it out. You have to be in alignment with each of these conditions. Let's just say that, you have a desire for something, and you're thinking along the right lines, but you are not imagining, you're not even picturing the right scenario for yourself. You're picturing the worst case scenario. How you communicate with your subconscious mind, with the super conscious, how you communicate is through the process of imagining. And it may not be that you're a very visual person. When you imagine something, you may hear things. When you imagine something, you might feel things. But if your imagination is not on board with what you're thinking, what you want, that's gonna get in your way. That's gonna it's almost like I have this picture in my book on what the manifesting conditions look like. It's this. It's these gears. Okay. So when you think about these 8 gears, and they're all working around, this one cog in the middle, and so you've got one that is too big or too slow or too fast, or it's just not in alignment. What's it going to do? It's gonna slow things down. It's gonna cause manifestation to slow down. It's gonna get in your way. It's gonna cause you to get stuck somewhere. So this is all of these conditions, these 8 conditions, have to work together in order, to bring you to what you want.
That makes sense. And what if I'm aligned with, let's say, 7 of the 8, but not all 8? What happens then?
That's probably one of the biggest issues that people have. And usually where people get stuck is they say, okay, I'm thinking along the right lane. I'm imagining, I'm visualizing, I've got my vision board. I'm meditating every day. I'm getting in touch with my intuition. I'm doing everything. But there's one piece that is usually missing. And usually the missing piece for a lot of people is their belief. They're doing all of these things. Maybe even they're taking action, but they just don't really, really believe. And belief is at multiple levels. You can believe something on a very superficial level. Yeah, I believe that that's going to happen. But then what is your subconscious mind? And your subconscious mind, it's unknown to you. You don't even necessarily know that part of you is not on board with this. And so we do actually have to go in sometimes into the subconscious realm and find out, what are the beliefs that I actually do have about this that are preventing me from having what I actually want?
Excellent. Thank you so much. So along those lines, you've been doing these seminars, as we mentioned. And by the way, at the end of this, Victoria is going to take your questions. So if you have any, put them in now. And she's also going to drill down to the depths of my soul. She's going to be asking me she's going to be helping me out somehow. I don't know how that's going to work. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
But the seminars, we mentioned your seminars earlier. You've been doing these law of attraction intensive trainings. And what exactly goes on at those seminars?
Yeah. So, this is the most amazing seminar that I put together. And it's one of those things where, you have it in your vision. You have a vision of how you want this thing to go, but then until you actually go and you do it, you're not really sure. So now people have actually gone, experienced it, and it's been amazing. And I somehow lost your picture. There you are. Okay. Anyway, so what happens during these seminars is, so reading is one level of learning, okay, and understanding. Listening is another level of learning. Taking a course where I also have this on, I do this in an online course. And so seeing this come to life and actually working with the practices on your own is another level of what happens. What we do at this seminar is we actually go through the first part of this book, the 8 manifesting conditions, and we break it down and we do these exercises. We do many meditations, live meditations. We do interaction with each other, and oh my God, it just brings everything to life, and it sets you up to have the experience of having profound transformation. I mean, you are working at a very deep, very intense level in a way that you would never be able to do on your own. I mean, people will transform as a result of going through my book, but this, most people are just not dedicated enough to actually sit with themselves for a whole weekend and go through step by step with these exercises. So we go through in a very loving, very safe environment. People are sharing, people are opening up, and people are making these amazing transformations. And they come away, they set huge goals, and 30 days later, they tell me, they're in a group, and they tell me about the things that they have been able to manifest, like more money in their businesses, relationships, the things that are really important to people, they've been able to create as a result of going through these trainings. So it's fun. I love it. I love helping people in that way.
That is a beautiful thing. And along those lines of helping people, I understand that you're giving away a free paperback copy of your book, and people just need to pay for shipping. My understanding is that that's at practicallawofattractionbook.com. Is that right?
It is, and we'll put a link in the comments later on. But yeah, and anybody can go and order a free copy. It's this is it's a #1 best-selling book on Amazon. It's normally $19.99 on Amazon, but I'm giving the book away for free. I just need you to help me out with shipping, because obviously that's an expense I have to pay for. And so, if you want a free copy of it, free paperback copy, just go to that practicallawofattractionbook.com website, and you can get yourself a free copy. Just pay the shipping.
That is wonderful. All right, so now's the time where Victoria is going to drill down into the depths of my soul to help me out and ask me some personal questions. I have no idea how this is going to go or what she's going to ask or anything. So Victoria, I'll just do what you say. How's that?
Yeah, definitely. So one of my signature exercises that I do in my book, in my course, in my seminar is an exercise that is designed to help you to ultimately figure out what it is that you really want. And what we do is we pick an area of your life that maybe isn't working so well right now, or maybe isn't working as well as it could be. You're not living up to your full potential in this area, and you just want more. So, I'm going to ask you right now, what area of your life would you like to see some improvement in? So we're going to start there.
I'd say, for the past few years, I've been working on building my relationship with myself, because I think that's an important fundamental place to start. And there was a lot of work I had to do there, and it's an ongoing project. But I feel that I've gotten to the point now where I'm ready to expand that and work on my relationship with someone else, a romantic type relationship. So if you could give me some guidance in that, I'd be eternally grateful.
Okay. All right. So you said two things. You said you wanted a better relationship with yourself or a better relationship with someone else?
For the last 3 years or so, I've been working on a relationship with myself, and I feel, although that's
you're ready project,
yeah, I've got a good basis there.
Yeah.
I feel I know myself. I value myself. I understand myself. Now I'd like to extend that and into a relationship with another.
Cool. So you want to attract your soulmate, basically. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this. We're gonna play a game, and the game is called the complaint game. Because here's what happens. So you have an idea of this thing out there that you want. You've been maybe trying to get it, and it just hasn't happened the way that you want. And the thing is that we have a tendency to, again, our thinking is limiting us. One of the reasons why you don't have this, you have to take it in, to the fact that it's got to have something to do with some way that you've been thinking, some way that you've been feeling. One of those manifesting conditions is out. And so we start with the thoughts. We start with what are the thoughts that are getting in your way of preventing you from having that. So I want you, and I'm going to make a list of as many things as I can. I want you to, for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to give you like 2 minutes, and let's see, let me look at my phone here. Okay, so it's like 2:09 here. For the next 2 minutes, I want you to complain about this situation. Now, it might sound like, I hate being alone, or it might be, I can't seem to find quality women anywhere. Those are, some ideas of what a complaint sounds like. So you want to think about, what is it that you don't like, and go.
Okay. Well, and I can just base this on my past experiences. I would say that I would complain about choosing poorly, and then I complain about
I choose poorly, I say.
I have in the past,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and choosing for the wrong reasons, not choosing, not really knowing how to choose, correctly, not really knowing what to look for exactly. More to the current point, I'd say my complaint would be just not having someone to share things with. When you do something I do something, and at the end of the day, it'd be nice, hey, what did you do? What, and they ask me, what did I do? And kind of, have someone to share that with, so that it means something. And so that's a complaint, if I were to phrase it that way. And let's see what else. Loneliness. I am a loner. I do prefer a lot of alone time, but everyone needs a little bit of interaction with someone. So I would complain about not having someone to share with, and to make me feel not alone in the world, or less alone. It's good to be a strong individual, but we're designed to reach out to others. So, that's a complaint. And let's see, I can probably get one more in there. Can you give me a hint? What's a category or something that I haven't touched on?
Let's see. Okay, so far we've got I choose poorly, I choose for the wrong reasons, I don't know what to look. Yeah, and I know this is all from the past. So okay. I don't have anyone to share things with. I feel alone, huh?
That's the present.
Yeah. I feel alone sometimes.
That's the present. Yep.
Okay, sometimes people will feel like there's not enough, of my type, like I something like that. I don't.
Yeah, there you go. Someone who gets me and I get them. Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay, so not maybe not enough people who get me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
That's a complaint.
It's a good complaint. Yeah. And here's here's the magic of this game too, is when we start to get into the bottom of these complaints. There's even deeper. We start to actually delve into deeper realms where you start to hear things that maybe these are on the surface. The very top one, you already kind of maybe knew about that one, but as you are forced, to stay in this process for a couple of minutes, you actually start to uncover some other complaints that you didn't even realize that you're walking around with. So do you think you have one more?
Oh, goodness. Probably. I don't know if I can access it right now on the
Yeah.
spot.
And
Uh,
and that's the beauty of going into doing these things in the seminar, because you do get you do get time, and you do get help from me, and you get help from your partner. So we do these really cool partner exercises. So this is just an example. So now we've got our complaints. All right. So we've got our complaints. Then what we're going to do is, so then I will explain to people how to convert these complaints into a preference. And so we go through this process where we take what we don't want and we turn it around, and we say, in a new way, in a way that I teach people, where it's realistic, it's believable, it's achievable. It has to go through a lot of these filters, and we turn these exact sentences into positive preferences that help you to really define very specifically what it is that you do want. Because we have a list of what you don't want now. You don't want to choose poorly. You don't want to choose for the wrong reasons. So what would be, given what I've said, okay, what would be a sentence that you could come up with? And you're a hypnotist, so you should probably be able to do this pretty easily. What would be a sentence you could come up with that is that's opposite of I choose poorly?
I choose wisely.
Okay. And so I choose wisely. Now, one of the things that we want to do is we want to soften these affirmations up a little bit, because I choose wisely. If you just got done saying I choose poorly, well, I choose wisely isn't necessarily true right now in this, in this case, right? So what do we want to do to soften that up? How can we make that absolutely true? How can we make it
I make the
relevant?
best possible choices that anyone's ever made in the history of the world.
That's kind
That's
of
a
like
better,
going
more
the
focused.
opposite.
I don't know if
So,
soft means, how do you define soft?
so soften them up, meaning that like you're taking this and you're turning it into something that's a more believable statement. So maybe there's there's a filler word that you could put in there that that makes it more like, I love it when I choose wisely. Now that,
Okay. Okay.
I you so there's
Gotcha.
all these little sentence fillers and sentence starters, that what it does is, rather than having yourself thinking on the word poor being your focus, now you're thinking about your wise choices, and you're thinking it in a way that's absolutely believable. So you're not lying to yourself about, like, I choose wisely. It's like, I prefer to choose wisely. I love it when I choose wisely. I'm willing to make better, wiser choices. That all of these, they're just designed to get your thinking on what's positive.
Okay. So softer means taking the burden off and just presenting it as if it it happens, but not saying that you have to do that. Is that
It's softening it, meaning it's not a strong affirmation. Like sometimes
okay?
that's one of the reasons why affirmations fail, is because we say them in a way that's like, like, let's imagine that you're 300 pounds and you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, I weigh 125 pounds. Well, that's not true.
I would like it if I did.
Yes, exactly. I'm in the process of becoming 125 pounds.
Gotcha.
And so and so the key word is 125 pounds that we're focused on. It doesn't even matter about all those other things. It just allows the words to get into your system a little easier.
Oh, okay, I got it.
It allows it to be absorbed without
Okay.
the resistance that gets created when we lie to ourselves.
There you go. So choosing better than anyone in the history of the world. I see how that would be the opposite of where
Exactly.
too much weight to put on me. Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So I
All
enjoy
right. So
when I
let's
choose.
have you do let's have you do let's have you do I feel alone sometimes.
Okay. So what do I do with it? I'm
So
sorry.
you're going to convert that into a
I
sentence about what you prefer instead.
I like it when I'm with someone and I don't feel alone.
Okay, so now what happened? What's the key word in that? Alone, right?
Okay.
So what's the opposite of alone?
Uh, Together. Or
Together?
I'd have to think. I'm sure I can come up with a better. Later on I'll come up with a much better answer. But that's
Of
what I
course.
top of my
Yeah,
head.
you're on the spot right now.
Yeah, right. I feel not alone.
But
Yeah.
see, the subconscious mind doesn't know, these it is not able to. There's no such thing in the world as not a thing, right? So the only things that there are things. So things like alone, that's a thing. But
Okay.
there's another thing that you could replace that with.
I need that thing. What's it? What's that thing? So alone with someone. I mean, can it be a phrase? Does that be a
Could be
word?
a phrase, yeah.
With
It's just
someone,
like,
I say
so
I
that like,
enjoy when I'm with someone.
you what?
I enjoy it when I'm with someone.
Yeah, I enjoy being with I enjoy I enjoy it when I'm with someone.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy. So you can kind of see where we're going here. Now we're going to have a list in the end of, roughly about 10
Okay.
preferences that you want instead. And so we take these preferences and we create a desire statement out of that. We take, like, say, our favorite one and we create this desire statement, and we get into uh, you know feeling grateful for the parts of that we have already. And then this desire
Nice.
statement, it just is something that continues to that you take with you, and it's your own personal desire statement that you've created. It's your intention, it's what you're doing about about moving closer to this. So we take this and we just keep building and expanding on it, so you have this whole master plan of what it is that you do want instead of what you don't want, and it's a beautiful process.
And it's very practical.
And it's very practical. It's absolutely very practical. To me, it's like one of the hearts of the program is really digging into what are the things that we're saying to ourselves. Where's our focus? If you say, if you counteract this alone thing with, I feel alone sometimes, with I don't want to feel alone. Well, what's your subconscious thinking when you say alone?
Still focused on the alone
You're still
stuff.
focused on the alone. So I teach people, and that's not a usual thing that, you know, most people are in touch with. They don't realize how often you know, may sound like they're saying positive things to themselves. Oh, you know, I'm not going to smoke anymore. I'm not going to eat cake anymore.
Focus is still on the smoking or the cake.
They're
Yeah.
still talking about
Right. Right. Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh,
So
outstanding. And you
So
teach
that's
them.
ultimately, you know, just a kind of a quick version of the complaint game. And it's a lot of fun. The class lights up. People love to complain. They love to get into it, but then that's the last time they get to do it. And they get to make these new phrases that help them to actually attract what it is that they really want.
That's a
That's pretty
wonderful
cool.
thing. And I can really tell you care about people because you've designed this to help people improve their lives. So that really shows through. Thank you for sharing that hors d'oeuvre, that sample platter of your seminar.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for being a willing participant and
Oh,
going
I
through
love
and sharing your you know, sharing yourself with us and what your, you know, one of your goals are. And you know, maybe through the process of many people seeing this, maybe there's
I will be together.
yeah. Perhaps.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
You're
And we
welcome.
have, I'm sure a lot of people have questions about, you know, the process and everything, and maybe some things weren't quite clear. Maybe some things came up along the way. So I don't know, in this newfangled technology, I don't know where to look for the questions. I haven't done Facebook Live in quite some time, but do you see any?
I do. There's lots. There's lots.
Yeah, feel
So
free to ask them and answer them.
yeah, I mean, there's lots of people, they haven't asked questions. I mean, but I'm going to say hi to everyone, starting from
Okay.
the most recent moving back. And as I'm going through this process, if you do have any questions about manifesting, about law of attraction, about my book, about my seminars, about anything. Oh, and by the way, this is the workshop workbook people get when you take this class, and it is like, I mean, we go through all these pages in this
A
class.
lot of,
It's crazy. Yeah,
a lot
we
of
go
good
through a
stuff.
lot of work. So Kathy Cook says both of you are awesome. Thank you. Alexandra
Thanks, Kathy.
Drina says Merry Christmas. Kathy Cook also, let's see. Oh, she said it twice. We're we're so awesome. She said it twice.
You never, well, there's two of us, so you know, one for each of us. Thank you.
Let's see. Arusiak says, Merry Christmas, peace, blessings, happiness to you all. Thank you so much. And Merry Christmas to everyone who's watching. And if you celebrate all the other holidays, Hanukkah officially yesterday, and I think Kwanzaa's coming up the day after Christmas, and Boxing Day, and in Australia. So wherever you're watching, happy, you know, whatever you celebrate this time of year.
Absolutely.
Just want to make sure that you're happy. And so let's
Absolutely.
see. We've also got Graham Shaw. Graham is a graduate, by the way, of the Law of Attraction Intensive, and
All
he
right.
proudly hangs his certificate up that he got from a class. And let's see. Graham says, "Hey, Steve, it does make you think, doesn't it?" So talking about the
Absolutely. Yeah, and I
yeah.
love stuff like that, Graham. I love stuff that makes you, you know, really dig into who you are and what you want and get clear about it in a practical way. So yeah, Graham,
Yes.
exactly right. I had a question or two that were asked of me earlier when people heard I was going to be interviewing you, and I
Oh,
can share those if you'd like.
absolutely.
One of them
Absolutely.
was for you personally. What's been your biggest benefit from this study of the law of attraction? What have you gained from it personally? The biggest win for you?
You know, I think it's really it's a toss up between having manifested my soulmate, Steve, which that happened back in like '04. And you know, and so that's been an amazing relationship. And but also manifesting the business that I always wanted. And you know, it was, you know, it's all of it's so funny because there's so many little clues to what you're meant to be doing along the way. I mean, because I started off, I wanted to be a singer. That, you know, so I wanted to be a singer, not just a you know, just any old singer. I wanted to inspire people using my voice. And I was always a good writer. And then at one point in my life, way before the internet came about, I wanted to be, believe it or not, I wanted to be in the mail order business. I wanted people to send me, you know, a check, and I would send them
Like
some goods, you
like Don
know.
Laprie, he had that commercial on in the '90s. Or is that what inspired you? His three simple ways to make money. One way.
Something like that. You know, I was always ordering stuff, you know, and I'm like, I was just always like a little bit of a natural like inventor, and like I want people to send me a check or money order for, you know.
Hey, who wouldn't? That's
And but I was like
back then.
fascinated with it. I was like, you know, what, you know, and I was actually going to be selling information. I had these little cassette, not cassette, floppy disk full of all different kinds of personal development type of articles and materials and things like that. And you know, it's like way before the internet even came out, and you know, I was gonna do that. So, anyways, it was just really interesting how all of my little hopes and dreams, all the things that I ever wanted in a career, they all sort of came together and allowed me to do something that inspires other people to be their best and to have their best and to have the things that they've always wanted. And so I just feel really blessed to have been able to manifest a business that just that's so enjoyable, you know,
Yeah.
you know, that's like all those things and all my favorite things all in one.
It's interesting how life works that way. It doesn't happen quite the way maybe you see it initially, because you just don't know enough at the time you ask for what's going to happen in your life. But suddenly you're in it and you say, wow, it happened. Not quite exactly the way I would have thought about it 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but here it
Yeah.
all is.
Yeah, you know, and all too often, you know, and one of the reasons why I like to specialize in business success and entrepreneur success is I think there's far too many people in the world that are working in a job just like I was working in a job, even though the job was paying very well as a stockbroker, but I was working there thinking I had no other choice because, you know, I just followed along a path and I felt stuck there. I felt like, well, there's nothing else that's going to, you know, allow me to make a living the way that I want to and set my own hours and sort of be my own boss and all of the things that I was able to do in that career. So I'm just stuck there. You know, so many people, I think, feel stuck doing something, working 9 to 5, having 2 weeks of vacation a year, not being able to go travel around the world, settling for relationships, settling for the body that they don't want, settling for all the things that they don't want. And I just feel inspired to want to help people break free of those things. So that, you know,
That's
manifesting this business, I believe, is probably one of my greatest.
excellent. Excellent. The other question I got earlier was, what's next? What's next for you?
So, what's next? That is a great question. So, I believe, you know, we're just getting started with this whole law of attraction seminar journey. And so, I do believe what's next is doing way more of these, you know, having them in every major city in the United States, and also every major city abroad. Being able to do this on 5 continents, certifying, maybe in the future, certifying other people to go out and be able to teach and coach on this material, and getting this to be the mainstream, not some airy fairy pie in the sky magical thinking idea that people don't really understand, but having everybody be able to go through this process of learning about themselves and taking this and changing their own lives, and changing other people's lives as well, and writing many more books, and being on Oprah.
All right, excellent. Well, Oprah, if you're watching, put her on. And then, and by the way, I want to remind everyone that Victoria, out of her generosity, is giving away a free paperback copy of her book, Practical Law of Attraction. And you just have to pay for shipping, which I think just makes sense. That's practical. It is a real charge that she's got to pay. So you just go to practicallawofattractionbook.com and you can get that right now. And Victoria, before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
I just want to remind everybody, and I just put the website in there. I just want to remind everybody that if whatever thought that you have, whatever idea that you have, that it's that idea that you don't even really necessarily want to admit to yourself about something that is possible for you, something better that is possible for you, whether it be your being in a better career, whether it be being in a better relationship, whether it be having, living to 100, whatever it is, whatever you can imagine for yourself. I just need you to really, really be clear and understand that you could not have that desire if there wasn't within you the instruction manual to bring that to fruition. You just have to dive in deep to understand what it is, why you want that. Don't worry so much about how. The how is absolutely something that you will put together, but once you understand more about why, and why you want it is so much more important than the how. Life comes with an instruction manual, and law of attraction, practical law of attraction, can help you to get in touch with that in instruction manual and help you to manifest. But I just want you to understand that anything that you can believe and conceive, just like they say in Think and Grow Rich, is absolutely possible for you to achieve.
What a wonderful way to wrap things up. Victoria Gallagher, law of attraction expert, hypnotherapist, friend of mine, my hero for a long time. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world.
And thank you so much for having me on your Facebook Live and interviewing me today. And your friendship is so important to me as well, and I've been a long time fan as well. And so thank you so much. It was really a fun experience, and I'm wishing you very happy holidays as well.
Thank you. You as well. Happy holidays, and have a wonderful new year. And that's to all of you. Happy holidays, and make 2020 your year.
Yes, definitely. 2020 is going to be an amazing year, and we can all move forward and closer toward achieving whatever we want.
Absolutely. Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye. Let's see here. Stop live stream. Okay, and stop recording.